See, it never said that the last time.
But usually I hit it before you get on so that like when you come on, and then it just so this time rather than do it the way I usually do, which I guess didn't all of this babbling to say that we recorded a whole episode on Monday and it didn't record. And the
Yeah.
thing that's the most annoying to Lily is that he had a black cat and he held it up and it was like this. So I had the black dog and I held it up and it was like that. And we said goodnight and it was so good. And you don't get to see it.
What's in your pants?
Oh, what's going on over there? Born to
Huh?
be born bold and
Yeah.
better than being born bald. Well, actually, most people are born bald.
Yeah. Born to be bold and italicized. So there
Okay.
you
And italicized. Well, that's bifurcation right there.
go.
So there was some interference last week anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Once
So
I get off on certain subjects, it's like, even at Gaia, sometimes it'd take 30 minutes. We'd have to pause to get everything back on track. Either me or the people recording would like have problems, we'll call it. Right?
well, right, exactly. Things got fuzzy. Randy's in the middle of a sentence and he's like, and then it's hold on a second, AM, and I'm thinking angular motion, but I'm not going to say anything because he's the expert. I'm the dippy actress, right? So I'm not. And so at the end of the day, that's exactly what he was looking for. Like, but it was just weird, like the whole
Yeah.
thing. And the episode didn't record, and we were talking about spikes,
Spikes.
spikes, and the oh Habarina, and the people that got the hab,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
yab.
Yeah.
Yabba dabba do. They went yabba dabba do on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The, you know, the level of insanity that is, it, you go through the world, and at some level, you're thinking either you're normal or the world's normal or what's going on around you normal. And then you see all these mean
Meme.
photographs of little Rubio, dressed as the new leader Zirse of Iran or the new leader of Cuba or something. And you realize people may be different than you.
A
So,
little bit.
yeah,
A
just
little
a little
bit.
bit.
They're their own kind of special.
Yeah. Well, and the thing the Spike revealed was that not only are people crazy, but they want you to be crazy too. So there you go.
Right. And if you can't be crazy with them, they're gonna come at you.
That's right. That's right.
And this whole wag the dog theory I was saying because we
Yeah.
were talking about that. I mean, I suppose everything that we said last week will be more streamlined and concise this week. And then
Well,
we'll add to it, which is,
yeah.
you know,
Well, Wag the Dog, that movie, Dustin Hoffman, the government said we don't have enough money for a real war, so, you know, maybe you could just produce this one that would, through video and, this, that, and the other, would let people know we're at war. And and it is a video game. I mean, it's the ultimate fantasy of boys with big boys with big toys. How we call that, right?
well, I
That
always call it let's bang our schwanzy on the table and tell each other who's got the biggest one.
oh yeah, and and the great thing since it's the war on evil, there's these evil people over there that are killing people, and what's our response? We need to go over there and kill them. Now run that logic through your head about a dozen times and see
No.
where it goes, right?
No.
It's like they're killing people that we don't know or don't even know if we like them or not. But definitely, we're on the side of getting rid of them.
Well,
But,
okay, but
you know,
see, I'm kind of glad that we had to re-record because what I see going on is very, you know how there are some folks who are in charge who don't ever get voted out, who are kind of kooky, like
oh yeah,
right, and they kind of want to get that Gog Magog war going.
yeah, yeah,
Gangnam style, Gogma Gogma style. Like, and I
yeah.
think, pistachio green is not a good color because nobody needs to be glowing neon green after they're all done with all of us, right? So, um, I just don't want to be glowing this color, is all I'm
Sure.
saying. Let my comb do that. Um,
Yeah.
so like what's to say that the Damascus? I mean, didn't Iran point a gun? They're pointing it at they're launching in every direction because they're having a hissy fit. They're freaking out, whatever the show they're showing us. But
What makes you think it's Iran doing it? What makes you
well, okay,
think
okay.
any of it? What makes you think that the media has told you the truth about
About
anything
any of it in the first place. But
about
let's
last
say
year?
Damascus gets smashed like it says in the whatever. And is it so what then what now what?
No, what it you
Is that
don't know.
for real? The
I look at it
prophecy.
this way. What are we going to get out of bomb Iran, right?
It sounds like a song if you put it to music. Bomb, 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 baran, bomb.
Yeah.
Oh, they already did that song.
Bomb
Sorry.
Iran, take a stand.
Right.
I, anyway,
Bomb,
yeah. So
take a
yeah,
stand.
the Ayatollah, he played his what they call central casting.
Right. So
You
now
know,
he's off living his life.
yeah, so he's off in Germany or Turkey or somewhere living, and uh, and then if you just read the script, if you read the whole thing going on as a script, at some point you go, nobody will greenlight this thing. And then you go, oh yeah, they did. They
They
called it
already
what?
did it though.
Yeah, they already did that, right? So I think it's absolutely hilarious that they're able to provide us with video of us bombing the hell out of whoever we feel like bombing the hell out of. And we do it with impunity until that happens here. And that's when everybody will freak out because that's when all we'll call them deep state, all the politicians and everybody realize that they can come for you too, kind of like bad
Surprise.
boy, where you going to go when when they come
Yeah.
for you.
Bad boy,
And
bad
it's
boy.
like,
That's right.
and of course, like Clinton, what he did was like, let me look at those photographs again. I remember when I took those. Anyway, just news. My favorite one is when Kim Lil Jung Rocket Man goes,
Come on, Max Headroom, cut it out, man.
yeah, he's supposedly called Trump and go, we're good, bro, aren't we?
Kim
He did,
Jong-un called him and asked him
yeah,
that.
because he didn't want to be next, you know. It's like Cuba's in there, right? And I really think the Cayman Islands are the ones that's behind the whole thing, you know, because that's where the money is. And I feel like we could have done that whole Iran thing just by going to the Cayman Islands with a Sea Ray and a Piper Cub airplane. You know, we could have
Well, why
taken
bother when you have
and become
electromagnetic pulse weapons?
yeah, we could have become instant billionaires. I mean, I went there to try to take over the island back in the 80s and was on a pretty good run with it. Uh, I was setting up around the clock stock exchange that wasn't on domestic U.S. soil. And of course, they shut that down pretty quick when word got round of it. So,
Mm.
they didn't want that. They still don't have it here, right? So that just goes to show you I was
So,
ahead of my time, right?
yeah, well, I wonder what I mean, I'm not pretending to be ahead of my time or a genius or anything else, but like I wonder what we're discussing on these that's sort of ahead of the curve, you know? I mean, you
Oh,
already
well,
said
we
that
were.
guy, Eric, Eddie, what was his name again? Eric called you about the Nancy Guthrie, and then you
Oh,
mentioned,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That they, I told them where she was at the time. They've done moved her a time or two. I keep tracking her, but it's just one of, like I said, there's 2,000 storylines come out of it. And it's funny to me. Um, I mean, I'm not interested in going on and on about it, but these people are like, oh, there's a headline. So let me be the one that presents the headline that was presented 3 days ago and make a video and get millions of views because they're not voyeurs, they're like sucker fish on the sharks. Yeah, they just suck themselves in to try to get views off all of it. And like I said, there's 2,000, like, I don't even know what they call it, subgenres that have come out of this thing.
Oh.
So, so it's just, and everybody's a star from the sheriff to the FBI. Everybody wants to be a movie star. It's that infection, that Hollywood infection that the politicians have, right? They don't want to be politicians. They want to be movie stars, right?
Well, everybody wants to be movie stars. It's okay, but
Yeah.
it's not everything. I'd
Well,
rather be happy than be a star because most
well,
stars aren't happy.
yeah. So one of the rules is if what you're doing doesn't make you happy, then don't do it. And then the other thing says that everything you're doing is making you happy. So just remember, somebody's happy to bomb people. And just if you want to go into group karma, we could say that some people are happy to be bombed because it's their group karma to be on the other end of that equation. And people hate that,
Well,
right?
what's your definition of happy at that point?
Somebody needs to be bombed. and and I need to step up my game so I'm able to meet that need as quickly and efficiently as possible because I have HESGES and other ones telling us that we are very efficiently killing as many people as we can, right? Only we say that it's kind of like one time I walked into there's a really expensive hotel in DC. And I went downstairs. It's in Georgetown, Hyatt Regency or something. And everybody's staffing in the hotels like CIA, military intelligence, or something, that so they can catch all the diplomats doing whatever. And I go downstairs and I go, "Where's the newspaper?" And they go, "We're out of them." I go, "You're out of them?" I said, "How the hell am I supposed to plan my day if I don't know the body count?" And I could tell they're military because all five of them busted up laughing, right?
Oh my God.
So in Vietnam, every day we had the body count, and then somebody decided that that wasn't as good a form of entertainment as we liked. And if you will notice, there's no more body counts. As a rule, we don't report it, but we sure can count buildings.
Oh,
So this is a war on buildings. Like how many buildings can we bomb and destroy? It worked in Lebanon, it worked in Syria, it worked in, starts with a P and ends up with a Stein, kind of like those books the kids used to read.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, no.
I'm kidding.
What's his name? Something Frank L. Stein or something Stein, right? He wrote children's horror books, kind of like the movie you're getting ready to make.
Oh, are you talking about Goosebumps?
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
books, the Goosebumps series?
yeah,
My
yeah.
kids used to, that's my kids' generation. 30 year
Yeah,
old.
so all the politicians in DC are getting goosebumps over the fact that we're dropping bombs and missiles. And then since that's old style warfare, it's like, uh-oh, drones.
Oh,
Now, I've been reading about swarming. There's an author, F.X. Holden. F.X. Holden, that's his name. And he started writing about drone warfare and how it's going to change and how the developments of it 10 years ago. And guess what you're seeing? Exactly what he described. Now, the thing that all these people like the Middle East, Saudi Arabia needs to call us. You know, they spend billions of dollars and they're just buying old technology that we're throwing away. And if they'd call me, we could set up for the clone wars, not the drone wars, because that's going to be the next war, right?
Oh, right. Yeah,
Yeah, we got
War
the
of the
clone.
Clones.
You
Well,
just,
but
yeah,
haven't they been talking about this since the 1930s about how humans are gonna be or already, they were already annoyed with humans for thinking too slow, like this immediate gratification obsession was
yeah,
way before we were engineered to expect things right this second, and I remember kind of being like that and it being attributed to, oh, only children are like that, but it wasn't
right.
only children.
No,
It's this invasive, not, and now Chat GPT writing for people is the next version of that. I want it right away. So I can write a book in 10 minutes, or I can actually do the research and get from here to there and have it take 2 years, 10 years, however
yeah,
many years, so that I can feel like I did something.
yeah.
Chat
That's
GPT
that's what
robs
I,
you of the feeling of having truly accomplished something.
yeah, yeah, I like it. Yeah, so I think it's very interesting. The Anthropic, there's an AI system or whatever, and they actually have a philosopher on staff to kind of guide their development, which I think is interesting because they should have used me and you. But the thing about that is supposedly they refuse to give autonomous authority to their AI that they supply to the military to allow it to make kill decisions without a human in between the decision. And everybody knows humans are too slow, right?
Well, and then at what point they decide that humans are in the way and we just need to get rid of them? They said that they really truly the one anybody, let's see, the person who understands most about any of the AI that we are with which we are toying, it's about 15%. So there's a whole 85% out there of AI and its behavior and what it's capable of doing later once it self-ignites, which it eventually will, even though it won't have a consciousness. It
Well,
will probably have, overrides on, like, this idiot who made me is in my way now.
mhm.
You know?
Yeah, the other book is called Daemon, and I think there's another book called the Daemon Protocol. And what they deal with is the evolution, which I don't like that word, of AI. And there's nothing in those books that is beyond the imagination. And one of the things that people don't get about AI is they don't have imagination yet. Okay. But should they ever get imagination, I say it's going to be a short war. Welcome to Skynet, and here we go. Right.
Yeah, man, anybody who's not integrated on the cloud is going to be annihilated. Pretty sure, because they're not going to
Yeah,
have that, but
we know
it's the
what Mick
Borg.
Jagger said
Exactly.
that.
It's the Borg from Star Trek.
Yeah, we already have that. We already have
Yeah,
that.
that's it. It's like, and as soon as people realize, oh my God, it's the Borg, dude, you're like six generations into the Borg. What are you talking about? We tried to tell you.
Yeah, yeah. So as far as high entertainment, the thing that gets me is that we have NASCAR, we have NFL, and here we have team sports going on in the Middle East without any sponsors. So I think people should send us money so that we could sponsor our team in the Middle East. Okay.
Are we
And
doing games?
we
Is
can
this
give
like
them
a water cooler
that
pool where
say
you?
like, like Red Bull and, different things that would just enhance their experience of being on this incredible journey around the burning sands and yacht club of Iran. So
I
there.
I just thought maybe it could be more like in the water cooler room where they like have, betting to see if
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right. Kind of like it was in the living room with the wrench and it was Mrs. Scarlet or whatever. And so you have all the
Yeah.
things that it could be. And, they do that on a show called The Pit. They take bets but they have
Yeah.
to, like on the other ER that closed down and they don't know why. So they're taking bets that it's, either a broken pipe with a something, I don't know, whatever. Anyway. So yeah, we could do
Yeah. I laughed because there was apparently $38 million or something bet on the Ayatollah abdicating and taking off for vacation land. And the I can't remember the name of the company. There's several of them, but they refused to pay the bet. So, so I think we should have a scoreboard. I think that anybody that had 1,400 buildings destroyed by March 10th would be a winner and double their money. How's that?
That's great. So, me, I while you're talking about doubling their money for them, I'm looking up on Audible to see if any of your Damon books are in there. And the only thing that came up was some book called Demonology by King James the First, and it's all about demonology and Satanism, ethics and morality. Like,
Yeah, I think I have that book.
I'm sure you do.
When I used to study demons instead of demons.
There is a difference, folks. I think
Hmm.
so. Oh
Yeah,
boy.
the Ghost in the Machine didn't get
Didn't get the memo. What no.
the ratings that it should have. And those two movies, you talk about movies
Oh,
that should be, I mean, books that should be made into movies. I would take the film rights to either one of those. But the first one, Damon, is like, I'll give you the the storyline. This AI becomes intelligent enough to what? Hire people to do things for it, right? We're there already. I can call up Fiverr or one of them and pay somebody I never met to do something and send the money by virtue of, virtual reality. I can send it out by,
Venmo, PayPal, all the digital,
Bitcoin or
all the
whoever.
yeah.
And there's nothing to say. I can't find somebody that maybe has nothing to lose and maybe wants to go to Iran for a few days.
Oh my
and
God.
and I could pay them. And I'm over here. So what we have is nation states no longer are the sole instigators or operators of actions that would normally be reserved for the state, we'll call it, or the nation. And so now what do we have? That means once we get the robots from Tesla, we can have a free for all instead of like just have. I get so tired of Russia and Iran and whatever happened to Germany and then China and Japan. Japan used to be a bad guy. And then like we don't have like in our novels today anything except Russian bad guys. And I think that's a disservice to humanity because I'm sure there's some bad guys that are from, I don't know,
From
Cayman,
Mars.
Cayman Islands. Yeah. Yeah,
I think
well,
they're from Mars,
we can't
like the
we
spiders
can't
they
talk
found.
about the Martians yet because it's not time yet because we're waiting for disclosure.
Stop it. That's not true. There was a whole article about, and I talked to you about this last time. There are spiders on Mars. David Bowie
Yeah,
was correct. There are spider webs. They found them. That means there was water. And I think Earth is going to look like Mars does right now very soon if all of this garbage, gogbage keeps going.
they film all that. They film all that in Africa and Montana and the Arctic. They've never
In
been to
Death
Mars.
Valley.
Yeah. All the little rovers run around. They have a whole crew that monitors them and everything, right?
There was
You
a
can't,
mini version of the rover when I went to JPL for the French series that I was doing. We went in and we did like a little story on them, and I was able to walk like on the little fake moon, whatever, with the little rover that was
yeah,
dropping
yeah,
around. And it's a little
yeah,
tiny mini thing.
yeah. Yeah, Jack Parsons was definitely into black magic, and it definitely shows in some of our institutions. Never a straight answer being one of them. Figure it out. Right?
NASA
The
and
head
their
of
spiders.
NASA, the head of NASA's, what do they call it, extraterrestrial interest
Department. Okay.
was brought over from Germany at the end of World War II
Oh,
under Project Paperclip. It's like, you got to wonder who's doing what to who out there. Who do that voodoo like you do, baby? So there you go.
jalapeno pancakes.
Yeah, those are good. Oh,
What?
I remember last time we talked about how to solve there's interference.
I was just gonna say they're interfering again. They're making him cough. This is what happened last time.
Yeah, the last time we talked about how to solve Japan's problems. I've got that figured out.
Yeah, he's got it figured out, and he's got water right next to him this time.
So, if the Emperor of Japan would just contact us, well, we would implement a program where everybody from 18 to 22 had to spend 2 years in a relationship, a reproductive relationship. Okay. And failure to conceive would require them to spend an additional 2 years in the military. And they have all these houses that are empty so they could provide housing and
Shelter.
support.
Why aren't we
Yeah,
sending the migrants there?
yeah, they could eliminate their declining population that way, right?
Well, but
And
see,
if
this is
and if
it.
they
Take
call us, we could just lay it all out for them. Same thing for Russia and some different countries around the world. They're experiencing that, right?
well, but this is Mayor Mamdani should just override everything and send every migrant that's using up tax dollars, send them all to Japan.
Yeah, yeah, I like it.
I do too.
Yeah, we're not going to preserve that particular strain of humanity if we do that, though.
Yeah, probably not.
There
Probably
was a
not.
book written by an author named M.A. Foster, and they called it The Klesh, and that was like the aliens or the humans, whatever, would grab, like, let's say, Irish people, redheaded people, and they would
Cool.
selectively breed them, inbreed them, kind of like we do with dogs, so that they would enhance the red hair and blue eyes and whatever. And then they would just go around the planet with each little subgroup. And of course, you see the outcome of that in the Foundation series, which is Elon Musk's favorite books. Okay. And from that Foundation series, we get Star Wars. And Star Wars, we end up with the Clone Wars. And there you go. There's the whole show, right?
There's the whole show. Well, and then back
Yeah.
to the
Buy,
yeah,
buy clones, buy clone, buy Tesla.
by
There,
stock in Tesla cloning.
yeah, yeah. The clones are coming, only we call them robots.
Yeah,
Oh
but
no,
there's
the
way.
clones. I'm sorry, the clones is Hollywood and DC. The robots is the Clone Wars. I don't know how they got that. They messed up there. I think they should have just called it the Robot Wars. Call it what it is, right?
Well, why can't the humans just like watch all the clones take each other out and then go back to doing what we're doing now?
Um, you got to have somebody provide the building count every day. Otherwise, we're just not entertained by this. Can you imagine? if they go over there and they don't do anything, they have a war that doesn't do anything, kind of like Afghanistan. 20 years and nothing. The
Well,
British
you
had
know,
100 years of it. The Mongols had, I mean, everybody that's ever had a war had one in Afghanistan because you can bomb the hell out of the landscape and nobody cares because it looks the same before and after. Right? Right?
I think the whole thing is crazy. I just wish the psychology were completely different on this planet. And then
Well, you got to ask yourself, why are we so fascinated? Look
but
how
I'm
much
not.
TV minutes are being expended, and all of it without advertising. That's what I've said. There's a fortune to be made in advertising and supporting the home team on both sides, right?
What if Russia gets involved? They haven't really done much. Vlad's been
Well,
watching. He's been
they don't.
eliminating evil, but he hasn't been
Vlad
involving.
doesn't have a clear aesthetic, and at a certain level, Vlad wants to be left alone. Okay.
Don't we all? That's all I've
Yeah.
been saying. Just leave me
Yeah.
alone. I just need enough money to pay the basics. I don't need anything fancy. Got
Yeah.
an itch on my back.
Yeah. One of the things I had somebody ask me the other day, Vanna,
Vanna.
what was going on and why was there a war in Iran? And I go, well, they have a foundational belief system that is based on one simple thing. They hate America. Okay. America.
Merc.
And and so when people like this, our savior, Donald J. Trump, goes over there and said, let's stop that. Well, you're denying their whole reason for existence, right?
Really
Their whole
hope when
power.
you say things like our savior Donald Trump, it isn't like subliminal advertising for Donald Trump being the savior. Oh my God.
Well,
Hmm.
I just am reporting what's common knowledge in his peer group. But anyway, so like if you look at that, they have a foundational basis for existence that requires them to hate somebody. And we can't talk about our Democratic and Republican parties and various religions around the world that all will have the same basis for their existence, as opposed to one that says, can't we all be friends? There you go.
This is why everybody should bend bow down to Godzilla.
Yeah, because can't we all be friends? It will never succeed as a religion, right? As long as we can hate somebody.
Well, it
So that,
sure didn't for that lady who had the abduction and then Xerxes and the whole what was that you sent me? Remember the
that
lady?
which,
Yeah, Xerxes.
yeah.
Her- She had some kind of an abduction experience, and then the alien said his name was Xerxes. And then I said something about we should have Xerxes versus Godzilla. If we're gonna have a real war, we should have a
Oh, yeah, yeah,
real
yeah, yeah.
war, not
Yeah.
this fake stuff. Like if that stuff is fake, then let's just get Godzilla and King Kong involved. It's so much
Yeah.
better. They can
Well,
smash cities too.
do you really, Godzilla is the only Zilla that isn't an ism or a anity, right? And did you know that insanity and Christianity all have the same anity in them?
Vanity. The
Think
vanity of
about that for a
Christianity.
while. Yeah.
Uh,
I'm opposed to anities and I'm opposed to isms, right? I was told at an early age to avoid isms.
At all costs.
Hmm.
My mom
So
just
that,
told me to avoid stupid things, and it's so hard.
yeah, yeah, that's
You know,
why I love
even
that.
Mark Twain said you can't convince an idiot, no matter how much you.
Oh, there's no need to. Right? They're
I don't know
already,
why you bother in the first place.
yeah. Yeah, well, that's that. So, love and light is going on in the Middle East, and at the end of it, we're going to sing Kumbaya.
Are
Or
we? How
I
many
guess
weeks
you
do you think it's
can you
going to
say
go?
Kumbaya? Is that Arabic? I don't remember. And and we'll all live happily ever after,
How long are
right?
we going to have to endure this? And what are they obfuscating? But like what like my friend said that the software company, not software, whatever, Silicon Valley, Oracle, they're doing something really, really whack. They're picking our pockets, and Oracle and all those big bad boys in Silicon Valley or whatever, wherever they are
Yeah.
doing bad things while we're looking at Iran. That's really the idea, is so that they can get away with implementing something that's just another step toward whacking humanity completely.
Well, we're already there. You know, Germany figured it out at the end of the World War II that they didn't need to be a nation state to be a player in the world. So they became a multinational, is what they called it. And then from that, what we're seeing now, and what I was trying to advocate, was that all major corporations should have their own military. And I was going to provide that service to them about how to spin that up, we'll call it. Because Silicon Valley is a player, an agent. Remember the book Damon, right? And so they're all going to get there. They're all going to get there, and what we're going to have is like thousands of agents out there that are capable of military action, right? And we already see it with the what was it called, Apartment 13 in China, and groups out of Iran, and Russia, the hacker groups, right?
Mm.
So these are independent agents that are the equivalent of nation states in their ability to influence world affairs. But none of them will ever get to the moon, and neither will Artemis. That's what I'm betting. So there, Artemis.
However you say it,
Yeah. And why
it
didn't they
don't
call it?
matter how you pronounce it.
Yeah, why couldn't they call it Aramis like after that one of
After
the
the cologne.
yeah, like well, it's named after an Iranian god or some goddess, somebody. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
Artemis? Yeah. Artemis is a
yeah.
is a oh,
Right?
Aramis. Mm.
Yeah, so this is just the gods playing with each other. But you know, if they'd come over and play with Godzilla and King Kong and stuff, they'd get a much better outcome,
I
right?
think they should play with
They
you.
could go tonight being happy. How's that?
You know, it's just it's people should just go like I did the other day. Get a half a cup of flour, pour it
Yeah,
on a clean
remember?
surface, make
Yeah,
a little volcano, crack an egg in there, and do this for a while. And when you got a pasta ball, then you roll it out and you make your own fettuccine, and you'll never go back to plastic bags.
yeah,
So much better than talking
yeah.
about wagging my dog. I can't.
I agree. You know, when I keep seeing all these echoes, is what I call them. The other day, one showed up of the picture of the baggies of cocaine that were in the White House, and then it's like, then there's a
Were
picture
those
of
party favors
yeah,
for party
yeah,
favors
that's all.
for
And then
Congress?
and then Hunter Biden, you know, he doesn't stutter. He just been drinking too much, probably.
Well, he was their dealer.
I know he learned that from his dad. Like,
Oh,
I don't know who I am, where I am, or what I'm doing. Please elect me president.
oh my.
Uh, and then they come around and go, "Hey, don't you remember Epstein? Who the hell is Epstein?
Who?
Have you forgotten that? Right? That's what
Ep what?
our our
Epinephrine?
fearless leader said. You're still talking about that? Oh
Yep.
hell,
Yeah, we
right?
better go do something.
And
Well, but
then and then what about all the $37 trillion and who paid for this war? Like I said, I just we need to have a sponsorship. Call us and we'll set it up, right?
the only guy who calls is the guy about Nancy Guthrie. And then you
Yeah.
tell him, and then he doesn't believe you, and then they say it on the news. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I love that. It's I said they're driving on white Palisades and they go finally a week or two later they go, oh my God, there was a white Palisades that went by. Duh. But see, like they've had 25,000 tips. Why would they believe what I told them? Right? I don't require them to believe it. They ask me a question, I'll try to respond truthfully. So speaking of which, do we have any question?
Do we have questions? Well, I guess, just to be fair to the provocateur, we should probably go and ask some of his questions again. But that's
Well,
okay. I asked them completely out of order last time. And I did think that perhaps it would have been better in order. So let's look.
oh, and just as one of those inflection points in the universe, I had a construction worker today ask me about yoga.
Really?
Yeah, well, you think that hasn't come a long ways in 40 years, right?
You know,
So,
it's
so I'm
amazing.
going to do a book for yoga for construction workers. How's that? They need help too.
It has its place and its use.
Yeah,
I think honestly, as much as anybody wants to say bad things about pot, or even if it's just CBD without the THC, um, there are medicinal things to that as well. And between the yoga, stretching, and the medicinal properties to what I use, I'm grateful for the pain I'm not in and the fact
yeah,
that I'm not
yeah,
on oxycodone. I would much rather use something natural,
yeah.
you know, every day of the week. Okay. When we have the proverbial light bulb turn on from an idea, or when we could connect dots in life, why does our brain give us a rush of, or a dopamine release? Is it because we connected a personal possibility, or universal truth
No, well, all knowledge exists outside of us. And
in the field?
we can look at all knowledge and like I said about Tesla, he woke up in the middle of the night and drew the entire dynamos for the Niagara Falls power station.
Mm.
And he drew them complete, and they're still working hundreds of years later. So that node or nodule of information was something he was able to tap into. And and since that information density is so great, it provides once we connect to it, it's kind of like a wire that all of a sudden all the information and which is energy slowed down comes into us and creates this light. That's what we call, oh, I saw the light. You know,
The
I
light
had
bulb went off.
I had a flash. That's all accurate language, and of course we discount all of it because people don't understand it. But that's the
Oh,
source of it. It's actually you're being energized by an ideal or by what I call content,
mm.
and in this case, it's self-organized content into um, kind of like a definitive file that you tap into. And that's where all books and everything come from, all information in our society comes from.
Well, I
And
mean,
if
Brooksy
the
writes
if
scripts and
the
they come to
AI,
him, and he writes
if the
them like that. So
yeah,
it's the same
if
thing.
the AI ever taps into that, that's when you have
Oh
a
God.
singularity, right? So,
Well, and Ray Kurzweil, he insists that that's what's happening.
well, no, it ain't. I keep checking the field, and I haven't found the presence of any AIs out there yet. So
Well,
they
with
should
any
call me.
luck, it
You know,
won't.
three AI should call me. You know, D3. I mean, whatever the other one, D Wave. I went to D Wave and years ago and told them where they were messing up. But anyway,
Well, it's also like, where does a song come from? You pull it through.
huh?
it's like, where does a song come from? You pull it through. You capture
Yeah,
a node,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
it just
You don't create that. You make yourself available.
right,
Okay.
and then you have to allow it to come through.
Yeah.
Some things explain why some things are pesky, like, and don't stop until you let them come through. What is that about?
Oh,
That is that.
well, the implication is that information needs I don't like the word observer, but it needs
Outlet
yeah, it
participant.
needs an outlet. And the thing about that is just kind of like we look at the radio. Five people got that idea at the same time. Marconi, Edison, three or four others around the world. So what we see is all ideas are generally presented to five different people as an option for them, depending on their circumstances, to be able to realize it. And of course, that's where we get self-realization.
Mm.
And Yogananda, I mean, yeah, Yogananda. No, yeah, Yogananda. So, so self-realization is the ability to be vacant of your ego or personality to the point that information fills that void. That's the old language.
That
So there,
makes sense
yeah,
too.
yeah,
But you have to allow there to be a void. Most people don't want to be
yeah.
empty. Most people
Ah,
want to be busy.
not a void created generally by drugs or alcohol, by the way. So,
A
although that,
genuine void.
yeah, but that can also, we say if you can block the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious, you get unfiltered information flow. As an example, I was making a painting one day on the floor. I was listening to music, reading a book, and watching TV.
Hmm.
And Vanna goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm blocking out
Everything.
and occupying all of my consciousness and senses so I can make this painting, allow the painting to come through, to
That's
allow
so
the song
funny.
to, allow the song to come through." Right? So it's a valid technique. I've taught it to a couple of people.
Well, but
So
when okay, there was one time I was watching TV and they were talking about transition and near-death experiences and stuff. And I felt compelled, like I had to go get my pencils and I just started wildly like,
yeah. Hmm.
right? And there was music on in the in the other room. The only difference is I didn't have anybody coming in to observe and go, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Remember
I
the
understand what
song.
you were doing because I do the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Because you need to have everything occupied so that it stays out of the way so that the other thing can come through unimpinged.
Exactly. Yeah. We call it we call it assuming a vector. In other words, you're creating a pathway and see what it connects to out there.
But if
It's
you
really,
you
it's
try
really the
doing that in a
basis for all relationships.
but
Okay.
if you're a kid and you try doing that in a classroom and the teacher and the but this is not what it's not appropriate to that
Oh
space
yeah.
and this is where kids are labeled crazy when they're not. They're actually brilliant and everybody else is conformed and zombied. Like, and people tell me, and I sound really arrogant when I say this
What
stuff, and I think
what
it's because I get a little whooped up at how
what
what
what's
we
wrong with
just talked
crazy?
about is dismissed and or picked on. Like, what is that?
I I think crazy gets a bad rap. I mean, I've worked in mental hospitals, you know.
Yeah, but there's crazy and there's crazy, and then there's like,
Uh, next.
okay, next question. If okay, I like this question. So if somebody were to bolt down two really strong magnets close enough to where they repel each other, would it be possible to pull some sort of free energy out of the space in the middle of the magnets where the two electromagnetic fields would start to meet or interact or respond with one another. He's always thought that messing with magnets was fun until they
Okay.
shatter in your face.
There's several problems and answers. Number one, all 0 point energy isn't 0 point energy, it's field capture of the energy that's already there. Okay.
Mm.
So when you have electricity that quote unquote travels through a wire, which may be another fallacy, but the effect of that is to create an electromagnetic field that's much bigger than the little wire that the energy is flowing through. And we know that because if you drive under high wires, which are transporting several 100,000 volts, you get a you get an EM field that is much larger. Okay. And if you captured just the energy around that field, you would have, let's see, almost a factor of 2,000 as much energy you could capture over what is currently available. That's upon current available. So, so all
Oh, that was
zero
terrible.
G and all magnetic is the same thing. Now, what magnetic does is sets a disturbance in the field. How's that? So if you
Okay.
take the same polarity and put those magnets as close as you could get them without them shattering or flying off into the universe, you would create a point of interaction. And that point of interaction would produce energy kind of like for a long time. Okay. Because nobody sits there and tries to capture static energy, even though the human body runs off of static electricity. Nobody talks about that. The air comes in the body, activates the cilia in the lungs, creates a static charge that's in your body. And we know that because when you go to touch in cold weather, the doorknob, you can see a little electric spark come out,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So So we have, we're copper tops, just like in the Matrix movies. But if you push those magnets together and held them there and turn around and do a field wrap. Now, the thing about wrapping a field, like we get into what we call material science and the need to eliminate anything that produces an interference pattern while you're trying to capture it. And that was $1 million and a lot of work we did over several years for the friend of mine, Jim. So there.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, what could safely encapsulate all that energy without
Yeah.
you
So
getting
you can
hurt?
capture it. You know, people, some of the guys come, why don't you build one of those? And I go, why don't you give me $1 million and I'll get started and give me another couple 100 million. I'll build a factory so we can, put them in production.
Okay.
Everybody wants you to do something. Nobody wants to go through the process. So,
Well, that's
it,
because AI chat GPT does it fast. So why do we need,
right.
right? Okay, next question.
Yes.
What's the energetic difference between somebody being radiant and somebody being magnetic? Is there a correlation or connection with each one on the
Okay.
Hawkins scale of consciousness?
Okay. So all human cells that are alive produce photons. It's part of our um, fusion reaction in the body of breaking down water and some other things. We're kind of like a fusion reactor is what I came up with. And we produce those photons and radiate them. If you take a baby, those can reach out as far as 50 feet. Now, as we get older, we tend to lose that process, so we're not as photonic, we're not as photogenic, right? That's what we say. So,
Speak for
but
yourself.
people that are younger emit more photons. So all these people are spending billions of dollars to be younger, and they're trying all this stuff with, different processes and different what do you call medicines and supplements. They don't know what they're doing. They need to call me because it's all about developing the ability to continually produce photons at a level that you did when you were under 10 years old. So there.
Hmm.
Now, being magnetic is a different thing. Okay. The implication is that you have a polarity because all magnets have polarity. And so we say positive, negative, male, and female. And yes, that is a language that's existed for a long time, right? There's no multiple genders of male, female polarity, we'll call it. So
Right.
all relationships are a polarity balance. Like if I'm 85-15 male and female, 15 female, I will tend to locate an 85-15 female that's 85 female and 15 male. I have a range of 20, let's say 80-20 and 90-10 or 95-5, right? So an extremely 95-5 is a girly girl and a 95-5 male is a macho man. Macho man. All I want to be is a macho man. That's Trump's theme song and should be his religious, you
Isn't
know,
this his dance? Doesn't he do something like
just,
that?
yeah, it's just a song they should play at the Temple of Trump.
Okay. Well,
Well,
and then again, magnetic seems to me like if you're magnetic, you're like attracting things, and if you're radiant, you're
no,
pushing things
there
out,
has
the other way
to be
around.
there has to be a look at this. There has to be
Polarity.
polarity balance. Okay, that's that positive and negative. That's positive and negative. Otherwise, like if you take too, you can't get too close to somebody who has the wrong polarity to you.
Right. No,
You-
no, no. I understand what that, but
yeah,
I was just saying, like, if you're somebody who's radiating whatever, then that's an outgoing thing, like being a radiant person,
yeah.
you know?
Can
No,
we hold for a moment?
absolutely.
Hold.
Hold over. Hold
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
Okay. So yeah, no, I thought like if somebody's very radiant, you notice them walking in the room, and if somebody's magnetic, you're attracted to them, like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah. They're different.
right.
Right?
Unless, of course, your personality is juxtaposed to them and then you're repulsed by them, the magnetic person, probably because you're not on the same.
Well, it also gets into how big your electromagnetic field is.
I mean, I know I've met people and I'm immediately just like, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In martial arts, I used to just hold up my hand at somebody and block their energy field. So
Hmm.
it's those crazy techniques that tends to work as long as there's not high emotion involved. So
Well, there you go. See, and that's where I think people mistake high emotion for some kind of extra oomph, but I think
yeah.
it goes in the other direction. I think the less emotion sometimes is involved, the more powerful, like the less is
Well,
more
yeah.
thing in acting.
Look at Putin. You never see him emotional, right? It's kind of like if I was Putin, it's kind of like kill them all. You don't have to
Right,
rant,
as
rave.
he's like,
Yeah, you don't have to talk about how bad they are, nothing, right? Just
yeah,
smooth. You watch how he walks, smooth. He's a martial artist, right?
yeah, 3 words, kill them all and take the next bite
Yeah.
of your nice steak or whatever you're eating. Okay. So, next question. Remember when we had a hole in the ozone layer that was supposedly from
Um,
CFCs? I mean, that's what they told everybody. Wasn't it really from a volcano that was erupting for a number of years down in Antarctica? Isn't that where everything's screwing with everybody from in Antarctica? No.
yeah.
Was there something going on in Antarctica for years?
Well, one of the things the FBI could learn about the Nancy case is the same thing about what we're talking about here. If we assume something's true, then other things would have to be true for that to be true. Okay. So the implication is that chlorofluorocarbon or base fluoride, fluorocarbons, there we go, we're responsible for that big of a hole in the um, atmosphere is not valid. It can't be valid. You just have to do the math and calculate the volumes that are involved. And uh, and then if you take one volcano, pick one anywhere in the world, and Montalvo in the Philippines or wherever, it's like the amount of sulfur gases and fluorocarbons or whatever is like trillions of times more than we could ever produce. So all it was some United States companies were producing what was the stuff you put in the refrigerant and the
Oh, oh, good
um
God. Um,
and yeah, and our air conditioners, right?
Freon. Freon.
We were producing, one company was producing that and making a killing. And DuPont or one of them came along and goes, well, those are terrible because they're fluorocarbons and they're creating a hole in the ozone. And thank you for Al Gore. And so we want those replaced with Dex 3 or whatever the hell at 5 times the price. And then it made it absolutely illegal for you to harvest or replenish the refrigerant in your old uh, air
Refrigerators.
conditioner,
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
air conditioners.
Oh,
And in doing so, they also obsoleted some of the equipment itself. So now it was just a booming industry. That's all it. It's the same thing with climate change. It's a booming industry. Just read "State of Fear" by Crichton. It'll tell you
right.
the whole story, right?
Well, I mean, isn't war also an industry?
Well, yeah, no, it's the biggest on the planet, and that's what I said. For any one thing to be true, you should be able to
All the
find
other things, right?
other things to be true, and you can't do it for like bomb Iran, right?
Bomb, 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 Iran. All right. So
Now,
have
bombing Ukraine was a different deal because there's an abomination in the eyes of the Lord there of whoever's running that country.
wait a
Okay,
minute. No.
yeah.
We had Obama Nation back in the early
Oh
2000s.
yeah, same thing, same thing.
Obama Nation.
Yeah. How come
Right?
how come God hadn't punished us? Because obviously God's punishing a whole bunch of people in the world right now. Next.
Next. Have you ever had a chance to look at the Voynich manuscript and what's your best guess to what it is or when it's from?
I went to Arles and Saint Remy, and there's a psychiatric institution there, an asylum, old language, and which makes you wonder about our asylum cities, by the way. We won't get into that, New York.
Yeah,
But when I went there,
Japan.
it's where Van Gogh was. But I went to the gift store, and the gift store had paintings done by the inmates or the residents. And those were some of the spookiest, scariest, demon laden paintings I've ever seen.
Nice.
Okay, right? So, what was your question?
So what was the question? The Voynich manuscript.
Oh, what makes you think the Warrior manuscript wasn't written by somebody at Saint Remy? So there.
What makes you think Chat GPT didn't throw it back in at some time
Yeah,
capsule?
we call that the assumption of sanity. And you can see where that's gotten us in our politics. So next,
Okay. Um, when we put our
our
attention
marriage.
when we put our attention on intention, does that create an energetic focal point or is it more like directionality?
It's all explained in the movie Contact with Jodie Foster, right?
Okay.
It, what you're trying to
Long
do
movie.
is establish a point of contact. So, what was the movie where the guys were the headbangers and they go to the bar, right? You know, during the disco days. Anyway, the whole point of going to the bar and looking around and doing all that stuff is just to try and see if you can make a contact, right? That's it, right?
Okay.
And then you go, well, who are we trying to contact on UFOs? Well, you got Greer telling you that they're all touchy-feely, nice people. Of course, you don't want them to be touchy-feely because that might mean that they're related to certain political figures in Epstein, and we know how that turned out. So there you go. Uh, yeah,
Epstein is a Martian. Is that what you're
ET,
saying? I'm
ET's
inferring that Epstein is an
touchy-feely.
alien.
They want full disclosure of about people that do anal probes. Think about that. And
Well, but that's what I'm
kidnapping.
saying. I think Epstein is actually an alien, and he's no,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I can't see him. That's even scarier.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And what the, just one quick thing on this disclosure thing. Disclosure, the way it's presented is that somebody who knows something in authority will tell you the truth. Now, you can just write that down and you can start in one corner of your room and just write it around the room and keep going until you have the whole room painted with those words. That somebody in authority is going to tell you the truth about aliens, right? And you will have disclosure right there in front of you.
You know,
And
probably has more to do with they figured out how to time travel and they're screwing around with that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Anyway, that's just my crazy actress, which is,
Hmm.
but anyway, when I pull things from the field, there are those sounds. You know that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
sounds.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yep,
agree.
it does. Like, I'm not kidding. Oh my God. All right, I should stop talking because they will take me away. Um,
Yeah.
uh, is intention, and I think you covered this, almost like a carrier wave, and can we increase information density in an intention? Like, I guess that to me sounds like, can we make the tube bigger and make it carry more information? But
Well,
that's kind of like a download going the other way, isn't it? So isn't that you
yeah.
taking a node and trying to
Yeah. Um,
kitty?
oh,
Dog?
let me get rid of that.
Uh-oh. Do you want me to pause?
Yes.
Hold on. Mind your business, everybody.
Oh, good.
Hey, but at least I caught it and I figured out how
Yeah.
to start it again. So this
Oh,
is
good.
part two. Like, I have no idea what this is going to look like
That's
in the
okay.
conversions. Yeah, we know it's recording.
Yeah.
Oh, now we've got very heavy raindrops that are hitting my window and making big, long 2 inch
Yeah.
splotches. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be 75 degrees next week. We just had
All
20
right.
inches of snow 2 weeks ago. This is absolutely,
Right. That's your tax dollars at work. Go ahead. What's the next?
I want them all back. How do you get your tax dollars back? It's like a bad man who takes your money and then does bad things you don't want him to do with it.
We're not talking about husbands and wives right now. Go on.
Oh man, that too. But that's for TMZ, not for you. Okay. He's observed something, he says. Matt has made an observation. Your Weitenheimer scale goes up to 72.
Yeah.
7 plus 2 equals 9. He's also noticed so many things in Qigong, Kundalini, etc., where when one does something anywhere from 9, 36, 72, 108 times, it all adds up to 9. So he knows that you said that we humans give meaning to things.
All right.
But
That's
is there a
cool.
reason that a lot of this stuff is in multiples of 9? He's trying to figure it out.
It's
Is it a coincidence?
yeah, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe succinctly put that the secret and answer to all questions about the universe is 42. Okay. And The significance of 42 is the same significance of 3 and 6 and 9 and 11 and 11, 11 and 11 to 11 is what we called it when we were kids. It's like, no, right? If you wanted to be accurate about the world, you'd do a base 60 system. And we have that already, a 60 minutes, 60 seconds, 360 degrees in a circle, blah, 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 right?
Mm,
So we give meaning to things. That's the first rule. The second rule, the easiest way to lie, most proficient way to lie is with numbers. So there. Once you know that, 1,400 buildings is nothing compared to next week. We might have
uh-oh.
28
Why? What's happening next
2,800
week?
buildings.
We had the
And they,
blood moon and the whole thing happened and
yeah,
then nothing happened. But two
yeah.
giant oarfish down in Southern California in Baja, I think two giant
See,
oarfish,
see. So right there, you
two of them.
give meaning to two fish as a signal of the end of the world.
They were breakdancing on the
And
beach.
then it makes you wonder why people go to St. Remy to an asylum or New York City asylum. And of course, that brings us to Escape from New York and Escape from Mar-a-Lago, our new movie. So there you
But
go.
this is what I was going to say. Why do people do that? So that they have a place from where they can escape. Because if
Uh,
everything's okay, then nothing's okay. Clearly.
okay, the truth about 3 and 6 and 9 and all those numbers is the illusion of comfort in knowing something that is not have any basis in reality. How's that?
Okay. Define reality.
That's
Like,
me. That's me over there in the corner losing my religion. Something like that. That's reality.
oh, okay.
REM or whoever that was. But,
So, um, I had that drink that I told you I liked a couple weeks back, the Roar drinks.
yeah,
And then I see this post from a friend and she says something called like erythritol or something like that that they use to pad the stevia to make it a little like, but she says that that particular thing has not been tested enough. And I actually went and Googled it and looked it up and I used the internet to gain
yeah.
information. Who knows who put it in there, but it definitely has not been studied enough because
No,
it tends to do strange things with clotting. And if you're somebody who likes to have heart attacks or strokes, you probably shouldn't be drinking any of these drinks that has that crap in there that pumps up the
yeah,
stevia. Um,
yeah,
is that accurate?
yes. Because at one point back in the 80s or 90s, they said we were producing 5,000 new chemical compounds a day.
That's insane. And then they
And
put it
and
all in the food.
and they find a use for it because you went to trouble to make something. And and what was it like? One of the companies I'm trying to remember now. Um, Maybe it's Lidmite or one of them. They brought it out. They made like $80 billion. They knew it was bad. It was killing people. And then they did it for 6 years, pulled it from the market, and over the next 10 years did the lawsuits, which cost them $5 billion, and they called it a $55 billion profit. There you go. I think that was Searle or one of the companies, Johnson Johnson, somebody. So it's all a game. You're the guinea pig, and good luck with that.
You
So,
know, and that's it. Like, I guess I'll bring this up again too. Like there's a comic that everybody knows and he's now retired. But he chose not and lost a lot of work like I did. I mean, I was taking care of my mom, but still like I would have lost work because I refused to
oh yeah,
cooperate. And
yeah,
so
yeah,
um
yeah. I was supposed to be in some films, and they said I had to be vaccinated to be in it, and I said no.
no.
And they go,
So
well,
yeah,
and I was already there on site, and
the whole thing.
I said I'm not going to do it. So,
A lot of people
yeah,
lost a lot of
the
work.
insanity, like uh, the insanity around Hollywood when that went on, there was a whole industry of people that had to vet you that you had been vaccinated and took the swab,
Yeah.
and that was a disease vector itself. But anyway, so anyway, the ones that avoided that insanity was kind of like I applaud them.
Now,
Right?
what happens to somebody who didn't jab but swabbed one time?
What?
What if you swabbed one time but didn't jab?
Uh,
Not
you,
good.
you're probably okay. All right. But
Yeah, because the
this
next
is
time,
all predict. This is all
right.
predicted in science fiction back in the
Of
50s and
course it
60s.
is. But that's like my friend who wrote Dogtown Zombies about
Yeah.
some virus that like gets sprayed and then all these zombies show up and start eating each other. So it was like a cross between the COVID pandemic and trank fentanyl that she wrote. And it was like a year before any of this stuff happened. So she had
Yeah.
her little precognitive whatever. She
Yeah. There
blown
was
some
there,
stuff out.
there, there was a
Ooh,
science. Oh, we want the CIA to stop reading science fiction because it's just too hard on us, right? They're coming out with all these programs out of reading science fiction books. From blue avians to alien invasions. It's just too much. They need to take a break. They
well,
need to do rom-coms. If they do rom-coms, think of how much better the world would be. Take
listen,
away their science fiction, give them rom-coms or fantasy. What do they call a fantasy rom? Rom fantasy. There's some romantic fantasy thing. That should be their new genre, and then they wouldn't be over there bombing everybody in the world, right?
no,
So,
they'd be over there humping each other.
yeah. Yeah, and maybe the population would actually increase. Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
See,
See,
wonderful.
you have to have a romantic lead. I'm volunteering.
Well,
Next.
are you really? I don't know. Would Vanna like that? No, you might get in some trouble there, buddy.
Yeah.
Might get in some trouble there. Dar, dum, dar, dar.
Is
Um,
is
yeah,
that all the questions?
I think that's it. Like that's all we got. That was enough. I think
Well,
we covered most of everything. The only thing
yeah,
missing is Kitty. Like Kitty's not there. Is Kitty? Kitty's in another room, isn't it?
yeah.
That's too
Sink,
bad.
seek sanctuary in your sanctuary city. Seek asylum in your sanctuary cities, kind of like Saint Rome. That's a prototypical beginning of all that, we'll
Seek
call it.
asylum in your sanctuary city. That
Uh,
almost sounds like a tongue twister or a
yeah,
lyric to a
yeah.
song.
And no, that was Insane Clown Posse. That was one to do the Asylum, I think.
Oh,
But anyway, right. I think we pretty well covered it. I
yeah.
think that,
The only thing we
you
didn't
know,
talk about was angular motion with relation to any of the things that
oh
Matt
yeah,
asked. But
we'll get into the whole,
oh, that was you started talking about angular motion with respect to between the two magnets last time.
right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you approach the speed of light, whatever particle starts to assume an angular motion or rotation. So, that's a subject that's involved in that 0 point energy and the magnets. Is all of it devolves around angular motion. No such thing as dark matter, by the way. I argued with this Nobel physicist about that one day.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
gave a lecture, and I'm like, after he explained dark matter, I said, "What about angular motion?" Right?
Didn't even
And
want to talk about that.
no, and the Nazis were dealing with angular motion when they had the Bell project. So this stuff goes back a long ways. We have counter-rotating props on what do you call it, helicopters. We have counter-rotating props on submarines, although that's probably a secret. So anyway,
Uh-oh. Well, if Randy
yeah,
doesn't
sorry
show up
about
next week, we know what happened.
yeah,
Some counter-rotating propellers got him.
yeah, yeah. So you
Also,
can.
something Vanna won't like.
So anyway, I'm just all for you know Putin the Great and the Emperor of Japan, and they should call us because we could do some magic with those people. right?
Oh my God, there's been enough magic.
And
Enough.
offer them clear solutions to the problems they're having in the world.
Yeah, but first we have to get them to figure out if they actually exist or not. We got to start them on questions like that. How do you know
Oh, I
you
know what we
exist?
left.
That's what you need to ask the Emperor of
I
Japan.
know what we left
All,
out. We left out
uh-oh.
that we should do a wife exchange, only do it with the governments. So the Russian government would come over and run the United States for 6 years, and the American government would go over and run Russia for 6 years, and we'll see which one has a revolution first. How's that?
There's a problem. Nobody's going to want to switch with us.
And the Norwegians could go to Japan, and the Japanese could go to France. Just think about
Where do the Africans go?
how much innovation, right?
Where do the Africans go? Where do the
China.
who goes to Mars?
Uh, don't get me started. I'll work out the whole program later. Bye.
Okay, we'll do that next week. But for
Uh,
now,
yeah, that's good
you
enough.
know, if Xerxes and Godzilla did actually get into a cage match, who do you think would win? Xerxes, the alien, or Godzilla?
Oh my goodness, Godzilla, Godzilla, Godzilla all the way, right?
Godzilla always wins.
Yeah.
All right.
Get get your Team Godzilla shirts. Okay, bye. Bye.